that, it's almost like the fear that Tammy talked about earlier. And Tammy, please, feel free, because this is something you and I talk about. It's like when you have something traumatic happen to you in your life. Divorce, I don't care what anybody says, is a traumatic event. And that trauma can leave an impression of fear, and like you said, and lead to depression. And if you don't have someone there to say, no, you can't stay here. It's time to recharge. It's time to reposition, reset yourself, and charge back into life. And I just don't think this message is a small message. I think this is a huge, an integral part of a woman's wholeness, her wellness, the total harmony and self-care as a gender-specific issue. We have been taught and reared a certain way, some of us, to always serve, and we miss out on that self-serving. So, Tammy, please stop me, because, Chere Goode has me. I'm excited. I'm recharged.
I'm excited to be talking to you ladies. And, like, my motto is the 3 words that are on my website. You'll see is happy, healthy, harmonious. So if you're happy, if you're living that life that you want to live, and you're happy, it's going to ultimately affect your health. You're going to be healthier. You're not going to have the stress that's going to cause all the ailments with your health. And then finally, if you're healthy and you're happy, that should provide you with a sense of harmony, because you're whole now. You've worked on mind, body, and spirit. You've worked on every single piece of you. That's the problem now. A piece of people every day walking around is broken. If all 3 parts is like a puzzle, we're like a puzzle. It's 3 pieces, mentally, physically, and emotionally. We have to be well. If any piece of that is off, then the puzzle's broken. And so that's why we have to figure out, we have to really know who we are and work on that part of ourselves that we know is broken. So emotionally, I was broken. I had to reinvent myself and become the person that I am today, because the person I am today is not the same person that was married to the father of my kids. After that divorce, I was broken. So I was angry. I was depressed. I was hurt. And so it was showing in my life. And so I had to work on that piece, that emotional piece of forgiving. I was not forgiving. I was walking around an angry black woman. and so I had to work on being forgiven. Yeah, right, the movie. And so I had to work on that piece of me that was emotionally broken. And when I worked on that piece of me, everything else in my life started clearing up. My health was better. I started gaining weight back, because I lost weight after my divorce. I mean, I went from a size 12 to a size 6 in 2 months, just from the stress of the financial piece and the emotional piece. So once I fixed that emotional piece, everything else started coming back in full place. And so, I looked healthier. I felt better. I started to feel like I could love again. So, we have to be honest with ourselves, and that's where self-care comes in, too. If you never, ever look at yourself, you're never, ever going to be able to fix what's wrong with you.
And, Chere Goode, I appreciate your altruistic spirit, your transparency, because we truly can gain from the pain. And through pain, there's purpose. And you showed us that you have gained from the pain by showing us the transparency that you went through, and your faith and your fortitude and your family-centered values. And that's the kind of soul-stirring transparency that's truly inspiring and motivating in extreme. But we also been talking about on the radio show a lot about the suicide rate. Because sometimes when people go through a suicide, like a whole divorce situation, they feel suicidal.
Yeah.
And suicide is on the rise. And in 2016, the second leading cause of death in the U.S. for people between the ages of 10 and 34 was suicide. And in 2015, 44,193 Americans died by their own hand. And divorce is becoming an epidemic in America. And so it's on the rise. And so you are showing people that there's hope even after divorce, because so many people are dealing with these daily influx of problems on a daily basis, and sometimes like the aftermath of going through a divorce can linger for so many years. And so you are showing that you pressed that, and that God has continued to keep His hands upon you. That God has a way of converting this painful mountain of experiences in our life to His instrument of grace. And sometimes we go through things like that, it tends to bring us into this introspection in our life. We have to look at our strengths as well as our kryptonites, identify both of them. But when it comes down to emotions, which our emotions are the reins, the seat, it's called the reins. And we have to be even keeled, like the master of the craft, across the spectrum of humanity. We must have to be even keeled, even in our sensibilities, as we engage with people across the spectrum of humanity. Like the captain of the ship who must align his or herself with the winds and the waves of destiny in order to reach his or her destination, we must align ourselves as well as with the God of the universe. And so you made it past that, and that's strength, that's courage, because courage is a strong virtue, strong virtue. And that takes a lot to even bring this out even on a radio broadcast today, to share with the listening audience, because you are showing us the type of blueprint. Let us be successful architects of peak performance in our lives that take us above and beyond any ordinary definition of success, but not just success in financial, but success in every area of our life, in our mind, our body, and our spirit. And we thank you. And I'm really big on legacy. And most of my interviews are centered around legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And you continue to be a beacon of inspiration. What do you wish for your lasting global crowning legacy to be?
Well, the legacy that I want to leave behind is that, number one, your tragedy does not have to be the end of your story. Tragedy does not have to be the end of your story. Instead, you can become triumphant over tragedy. And if we take the time to recharge our batteries mentally, physically, emotionally, then we can be whole. We can have total harmony in our lives, and also we can spread that to other people. So the legacy I'm leaving behind for my kids is to make sure that health and wellness is prevalent, not only to them, but hopefully, total harmony enterprises will last for generation to generation, where my children will continue to let my legacy live, that people can be well in all areas of life.
Oh, this is bringing a sense of catharsis to us, just hearing you say that. And there's a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King. He said, our legacy should be like, for the compelling necessity of embracing the fierce urgency of now. For there's no substitute for action. We have to be action-oriented. We have to be proactive in the things that we are called to do. And that track of enlightenment, encouragement that you're sharing with us today, that reveals courage and character and commitment to your divine purpose in the service of humanity, which is truly inspirational, educational, motivational for all those who are willing and seeking to organize and analyze and synergize their life to leaving a lasting legacy for mankind. Such tremendous words that you share with the listening audience today. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You are so very welcome. Mrs. Chere Goode, thank you very much for the profoundly insightful, illuminating explanation about your journey into enlightenment by helping others to execute upon their full potential and claim their divine destiny. In conclusion, on behalf of myself, my co-host Candace Michelle, and my co-host John Schamberger, who is the Millionaires in Training founder and co-host of this groundbreaking show, and our listening audience, we appreciate you sharing such wisdom on today's show. Please accept our profuse thanks. You are a woman of measure, wit, and gravitas, and we thank you for this wonderful, insightful contribution to the life legacy of each one of us on behalf of our progeny and future generations. May we offer you our endless gratitude and eternal thanks forever and ever. Today is Thursday, February the 7th, 2019. This concludes our interview. Thank you, and may God bless you And there's a quote by Dr. George C. Frazier. He said, intelligence will never stop being beautiful. So never stop being the beautiful person that you are. God bless you and your family. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.